بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه. The month of Ramadan comes as an opportunity to purify oneself, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's a time when we put our differences aside. It's a time when we cleanse the body. It's a time when we put emotions, negative emotions, hurtful emotions aside. It's also a time to put thoughts that are painful to us aside. It's the time that to allow the spirit within us to surface and to begin to glow once again to guide us in our lives. Maintaining that purity ain't easy. For in life we are told that every day we receive up to 60,000 messages that come to us. Through what we see, through what we hear, through what we feel, through what we experience. Of those 60,000 messages a day, 90% of them are negative. They will either hurt us, they will limit us, or they will even go beyond that to leave behind a scar. Sometimes you hear a word that is hurtful. Sometimes you see something that is happening in front of you that really contradicts your values, your principles, or your standards. Sometimes we experience ourselves some setbacks. Sometimes we have that self-limiting talks that we do have internally. All of those are negative messages that come to us. Maintaining purity is to have hope in life. Maintaining purity is to be optimistic that things can be better. Maintaining purity is to say, you know what, I can tolerate others. When people are wrong, or when you see something wrong happening in front of you, you don't need to react. So first and foremost, have hope in a better future. 2, be optimistic that things can get better. Number 3, stop reacting to the negative messages. With negative messages, negative thoughts, I have some news for you. Every time you entertain a negative thought, it doesn't matter how that negative thought came to your mind. Whether you saw something and then you reacted to it, whether you heard something and you reacted to it, or whether you felt something and you reacted to it. Negative thoughts, the minute you entertain them, the minute you interact with them, the minute you react with them, they control you. They become powerful. And when they become powerful, they begin now to control you. So please remember this formula. The only time, and I repeat it for the 3rd time, the only time negative thoughts have power over you is when you react to them. Cease reacting to negative thoughts. Cease reacting to negative signals. Do not get sucked into that type of thinking. Whenever a negative thought comes to you, just push it aside. Neglect it. Ignore it. Move to something else. Replace it with a positive thought. Find 1,000 ways that you can turn that negative thought into a positive thought. Chinese, the word crisis in Chinese is made of 2 words, according to what I understand. Crisis, part of it is difficulties, calamities, problems. The other part is solution or hope or better. How can you turn all the negative things in your life into positive? How can you transform pain into pleasure? How can you forgive and forget? How can you be positive in everything? Remember, every coin has 2 sides of it. And life has 2 sides. There is the dark side, there is the bright side. There is the negative side, the positive side. The wrong side, the right side. If you were to be given an option, which side would you like to be? And remember, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. So keep your hopes high, keep your hopes high, be optimistic, and most importantly, Make sure you do not react to negative emotions, to negative thoughts. The best way not to react to negative emotions is this. Make a barrier between your thought and your emotions. A thought alone is not harmful. It only gains power when it is connected with an emotion. So remember this from me. Thoughts that are emotionalized become magnetized and attract similar thoughts. I'll repeat that. Thoughts that are emotionalized become magnetized and attract similar thoughts. And there is nothing that succeeds like successful thoughts, like positive thoughts. That's why when you're thinking positively, everything else seems to be positive. And the opposite is true. When you think negative, everything else appears to be negative. Be positive, be optimistic, be peaceful, and enjoy life. You are meant to be happy in this life. All the best.